I'd like to take you through how we live in a day-to-day world and how our IT systems live in that same world. So many of you might have seen some of the videos that are out there already on things like YouTube that talk about the fact that we do not live in a flat 2D world. We live in a 3D world. So let's just try and give some context to this. So this is a direct image from Google, and it represents a part of Toronto as a city, and two very famous landmarks, three in fact on here. So the Roundhouse is actually an old railway station, but it's been turned into a beer company. But they have got railway trains there and all sorts of things. It's a very dynamic area full of interest, but it looks very flat here. The Rogers Centre is an amazing building that actually the rectangular sections of that building roll back to open up to be a baseball field. They hold UFC fights there. They do all sorts of different things, but it looks very flat. It doesn't have any sort of shape to it or detail. And the CN Tower is right next to it, and you can see that there's a little diagram in there, but you can't see anything about the height or detail or what's involved in that CN Tower. There's no context, there's a shape. So this is a 2D world, and this is often how we depict IT services. If you click on the 3D button in Google, now you start to see context. You'll see that the Rogers Centre actually has some height and shape to it. And you can see now a bit more about how those sections of the roof will actually roll back. Just to the right of it, you now start to see the scale of the CN Tower and the fact that there's bulbous sections in it, and that's actually where they hold restaurants. There's a ring around it where they hold telecommunications systems, and the whole thing is actually a telecommunications tower. But you wouldn't have got that from the image that was provided on the left-hand side. So we live in a 3D world. You also start to see the other context of things around it, such as all the rest of the buildings that you would have just seen as a flat square on the left-hand diagram, but now they've actually got shape and design, color. You actually see them for what they really are. And this is true. The 2D is useful, but 3D provides a lot more context as to what's going on. And this is typical of what we see in a lot of service modeling diagrams. So this is a typical service model. There's nothing wrong with it. It's 2D, it's still very useful, and it shows some components at the bottom like databases or servers that are actually running, and that they build up and in that sort of crescendo to the top item, which is really your business service. And we can start to show that if things fail at the bottom end, how they would affect the actual business service at the very top end. But if you do it in a slightly different way and you actually apply 3D modeling to it, you'll actually start to get a lot more context of the things that are going on and how they're linked together. Now, I haven't got the arrows that link and do the relationships in here, but you'll start to see that, for instance, at the very top layer, we have a payroll. And that payroll service is supported by some web services, some application services, and a database, some kind of storage. Underneath that, to actually make those service components work, we actually have to have running software like Apache or JBoss or Enterprise SQL that's actually serving up those applications and databases to make them work. But they, in their own right, depend on virtual machines in this case. So cloud virtual machines in Azure that happen to be making this run. To the left of that, we might have a different cloud service provider. AWS may be providing their cloud VMs. And on the right, you have a data center with physical servers in it. And those physical servers are split between actually being able to provide direct services to something like Oracle RAC and SAP R3, where they're actually sat directly on those machines. There's no virtualization systems in that place. But then you might also put on some different machines an ESX server farm and build out a whole set of virtual machines on there to do other things around your business. And there would be more things like the payroll. It could be HR, it could be a design group, it could be your sales group, would all be using those VMs. I just happen to have shown one service, in this case, payroll, to give an idea of the fact that this layering is really important, and having that 3D view gives you a really good visualization on how these things fit together. So 2D is useful. 3D provides a lot more context as to what's going on, and particularly if you can start to do things like this. So now we're looking at payroll service and Oracle RAC, but now I can actually start to see, this is really how things fit together and how things are going to work as a group of things. So this complete capability to understand how these things fit together, zoom in, zoom out, and get that visualization of how things link really provides so much more context than the 2D world. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video and understanding where 3D modeling and 3D service modeling is actually coming from. Thank you.